This time on Monkey Life. 2 lives hang in the balance when woolly monkey Sarah has emergency surgery.
Is the baby stuck? Is it in a funny position? Is indeed she pregnant in the first place?
Golden-cheeked gibbon Tio takes his first wobbly steps 20 metres high.
You feel very much like his protective parent watching him go off. You're like, oh, be careful.
And the capuchins taste test camellias.
Capuchins in the wild, they will eat a lot of flowers and things like that.
Monkey World, tucked deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and neglected primates from all over the world.
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
The park is home to more than 240 monkeys and apes from 19 different species. At the Woolly Monkey House, the team are concerned about Sarah. When they arrived this morning, she looked okay, but primate care staff could see the muscles in her belly contracting.
I got a call this morning to come in quickly because it would appear that Sarah, our female woolly monkey, is going into labor. Now, we didn't even know she was pregnant, so I've come in very quickly just to come down and have a check and see what we think's actually happening.
Sarah's always been a big girl, so any pregnancy has been kept well hidden from the team. She was living in Bueno's group before he passed away 2 weeks ago. They hadn't noticed her showing any interest in Bueno, but if she is pregnant, it will be his.
This baby would be just lovely and full of emotions because if indeed she's pregnant and giving birth, this is Bueno's baby. And of course, we've just lost Bueno, so it'll be a nice tribute and reminder of Bueno and sort of, a little bit of him left behind, which would be fantastic. But at the moment, I feel like I'm tempting fate by even talking about it. We just need to get Sarah through this process in one piece.
Sarah came to Monkey World in 2010 from Kentucky, USA, and quickly settled in.
Finally, well done.
She's well and truly helped herself to dinner. She's had bananas, grapes, all sorts. She's had a bit of a scratch with some of the keepers, which apparently she really enjoys, so I think she's relaxing a bit. And she can't think we're too scary or she wouldn't be helping herself quite so enthusiastically. She's actually waiting now that I'm talking, sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, and a little trill. That's a very happy woolly monkey noise, so things are going okay.
She was soon accepted as a member of Bueno's family and endeared herself to everyone with her quiet ways. This baby wouldn't just be important to the park, it would be a significant addition to the small captive population of woolly monkeys left in the world today.
Really, Sarah's quite an incredibly valuable individual. She was the last female woolly monkey in America and therefore unrelated to any of the individuals in the very small European population. So she was sent here to breed, to become part of our group and to be a reproductive female. So this is what we've all been waiting for.
This morning, the rest of the group are being kept separate, but they're unsettled by all the activity. Hours pass and things don't progress for Sarah, so specialist wildlife vet John Lewis is called in.
It looks like a pregnancy, looking at the shape of her abdomen. She was seen having contractions as if she was going into labour this morning, which have faded away. She's very uncomfortable. I think she's having difficulty giving birth. Most primates, actually, you will find the baby in the morning. They give birth at night. Presumably it's a safer time if you have predators to worry about, etc. And she hasn't, so I think she's in a bit of difficulty with it.
They need to get Sarah down to the hospital as quickly as possible.
I think with cases like this, if you can get in, anaesthetise and determine what's going on and resolve it, before the animal actually looks ill, before it starts looking collapsed, you stand a better chance of getting a good result.
Any delay could be life-threatening for Sarah and her unborn baby.
Once we've ascertained what the issue is, then we either deliver, let's assume she's pregnant, we either deliver the baby in the normal manner or we move to the caesarean section or whatever's appropriate. Are you coming to help?
Golden-cheeked gibbon Peanut had no problems giving birth to baby Tio. 6 months ago, primate care staff came in to find him clinging to Mum, and they were soon out swinging through the trees. Tio was her third child, and she'd no qualms about being a mum.
The baby certainly seems to be very strong, and we've seen baby suckling quite a few times already, so we're really happy with that.
For the first 2 months, Peanut was very protective of him, and Tio never left her.
By 3 months old, Tio was actually starting to have a bit more of an interest in the world. So instead of just looking at things, he was starting to stretch his hand out and touch the things that were around him. And gradually over time, that's kind of developed from touching it to actually grasping it and taking it.
Tio grew stronger and more confident and began foraging for himself. Now, at 6 months old, he started to venture away from his mum.
Very much like a baby's first steps, he is very wobbly and gangly, but the scary thing is that he's doing that at height.
Tio's world is up in the tall trees, and he's well camouflaged against golden-coloured Peanut.
Kind of terrifying, but amazing to see, obviously, him developing into a little boy. It's great. You feel very much like his protective parent watching him go off. You're like, oh, be careful, but he don't care. He just gets on with it.
But Supermum Peanut is never far away.
Even at this tiny size that Tio is, she is letting him come off of her high up in the trees. She's letting him explore and test the world around him. But she is always within arm's reach of him. She is giving him that freedom, but she's ready to grab him at the slightest sign of trouble.
Big sister Tia Nang has been besotted with Tio since the day he was born, but to start with, she had to be content with just watching and getting close to him.
Now that he's off and being a little bit more independent, he's just as curious about her as she is with him. So they are actually having some very gentle play sessions. They're also having some little grooming sessions as well, and Tia Nang is obviously loving and doting having a little brother to have some fun with.
Dad Peng Yo is far more interested in hanging out with 5-year-old son Tien. They're happy to leave child rearing to the girls.
They are much more independent of doing man stuff, which is absolutely fine. That's the way it should be. It's very good for Tia Nang to have the experience with a little baby, but the boys don't really need that experience, so they can get off and do their own thing at the moment.
Tio still has a lot to learn before Peanut will allow him to go off with the boys.
He's never going to be out of sight of her for years to come yet. The great thing about this enclosure is he can actually get quite a distance away from Mum but still be in line of sight as well, and he can have lots of fun and activity with his brother and sister. He's got a whole family to look out for him, so he's a very lucky little chap, actually.
At Chippy's woolly monkey enclosure, the team are trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with Sarah. First thing this morning, she appeared to be in labour. Now her contractions have stopped. It's not going well, so she's been anaesthetised and taken to the Parks Hospital, where vet John Lewis can check her. His examination confirms the pregnancy, but as Sarah hasn't been able to deliver the baby herself, the decision is made to carry out a caesarean section. It will be the first woolly monkey at the park to be delivered in this way.
Light's about to start opening, so I'm just...
It's a worrying time for everyone.
Pull the sleeves up from inside as well.
This is emergency surgery, and many things could go wrong. Sarah's life and that of her baby are in jeopardy.
Good little fat.
Park vet Mike Nathan is carrying out the vital surgery.
There's the ovary. Blood pressure might drop.
Once the incision is made and the uterus in view, they can see the outline of the baby inside it. But it's not over yet. The tiny new life has still to make its entrance to the world.
Oxytocin coming up, please, 0.25. Can't call it Maria then. Can I have some oxytocin, please?
Alison gets straight to work, stimulating the baby to breathe for himself. The next few minutes are critical. The baby Woolly's been delivered successfully, but they must get him breathing properly if he is to survive.
Getting little bubbles and gasps, are we?
Following Woolly Monkey Sarah's caesarean operation, her new baby is alive, but he's not breathing freely.
We're not going to need it quite yet.
Whilst Mike Nathan finishes off Sarah's surgery, Alison and John Lewis work on the newborn.
Do you want to get another suction ready, 10mm syringe and a long catheter?
The syringe will draw out any mucus and clear his airways.
Hold his head back. It's okay, it's just a little bit.
Everyone starts to relax and welcome this new little boy to the world.
It's a bit of a rough start. Yeah, that's not dissimilar to the other faces I've seen. It's a rough start. Oh, the tail moving around as well. Yeah, the tail's well tightly curled. It's a healthy baby.
All the while, Mike has been continuing to work on Sarah.
We just need to make sure that Sarah's now fit and healthy and get her back on her feet, and then we all want Sarah to care for the baby, and this is important. It's her first one, so it'd be good for her to know what to do.
Alison, I'm happy.
It's breathing.
While Sarah's asleep, it's a good opportunity to give the little one a meal. Mum's first milk will help boost his immune system.
It's got a good prep. Look, he just starts gnawing. When he latches on and feels it in his mouth, he really starts gnawing away, so. Yes, that's Mike.
With Sarah still unconscious, it's up to Alison and the team to keep the newborn alive.
Right now, his most important thing is getting fluids in, keeping hydrated. Not even that worried about the milk, but just that he gets enough fluid in over the next 24 hours. Keeping him warm, which is what I'm doing right now while they finish up on Sarah, and then we'll have to decide how we play this.
Sarah's unaware that she now has a fine baby son, and he could come as a shock to her.
I'd be inclined to let her have it and come round with it, because I think that's more natural than waking up from something scary and then have somebody handing you him. That's my gut reaction, but we'll all make a decision on that. But healthy baby.
Sarah's first reaction to her baby will be very important. Everyone's hoping she'll want to nurse him and that he won't have to be hand-reared.
Like we're saying, that the centre came away very easily.
Yeah,
Which suggests it's coming away.
so good timing.
Outside, the heavens have opened and the capuchins are tucked up inside their cosy house, keeping warm and dry. But the capuchin team have plenty of ideas to stop them getting bored and keep them active.
We've got a big pile of tubes that we've put loads of treats and straw inside, so hopefully a little bit more interesting and different and something they don't get every day. So we're just going to hide them all over the place.
And there's seasonal enrichment as well.
We've also got some camellia flowers that we've put in these baskets. Capuchins in the wild, they will eat a lot of flowers and things like that.
The capuchins regularly have treats, and that's especially important on days like this.
It's nice to actually do a lot of enrichment and stuff on wet days, as you know, like us, sometimes they're sort of a little bit down with the weather. So once they've come out, had a really good time out here, then you know they can head on back in where it's warm, and at least it's sort of burnt off a little bit of energy for these guys, because they are, you know, very high energy active type of group.
After all the movement of the last few weeks, the capuchins are now living in 4 mixed-sex groups. Winslow's gang has 19 members, most of them quite young.
Hey there, boys!
6-year-olds Fabian and Donnie are first out. Leader Winslow's not so keen on venturing into the wet, and that means the lower rankers can get first pick of what's on offer. Elvira and Frida don't mind the rain, but they're not so sure about actually eating the brightly coloured blooms. Fabian's focused on what's filling the socks. He's determined to get his share. There must be a way into this. Wily William's waiting his chance. When it comes, he goes for a more direct method. It's worked, and he's got the girl.
It was quite a big decision to mix up the groups. You know, we didn't want to sort of turn their worlds completely upside down, but we were pretty confident that this was going to be the right thing to do, and I'm pleased to say, you know, it has worked a treat.
But today, Fabian's ended up with nothing, so he's taking matters into his own hands. Following her successful C-section, woolly monkey Sarah and her new baby have left the sanctuary's hospital to spend the night in their own bedroom. The team are hoping that Sarah will feed her newborn and go on to rear him herself. But she's just had major surgery, and this is her first baby. Group leader Chippy and the rest of the family have been waiting for Sarah to return. And they're curious about what's going on. When vet John Lewis emerges, it's not good news.
The mother is woken up and hasn't picked up the baby so far, but she's still, you know, suffering from the after effects of an anaesthetic, albeit rather short. So we're going to give her a little while with keepers watching her and see if she goes back and picks the baby up.
They're still hoping that Sarah will prove a natural mum, and she's being given every chance to get used to the baby. But as night falls, that's looking less and less likely. When Alison comes out, she's carrying the tiny woolly monkey.
Got a bit of blood and a bite on the back. Sarah came out of her box and went up onto a shelf without the baby. And we left the baby in the box sort of squeaking a bit for a while, hoping that she might go down and pick it up. Finally, I was worried that it was getting a bit chilly, which it is. That's why I've got my coat back to front. And it's got a little bite mark on its back. So I think as she came around in the box, she, you know, wanted it off of her.
They can't risk leaving the newborn with Sarah any longer. Everyone's hugely disappointed, but they haven't given up.
So it's not end of days yet. Obviously, I'll look after the baby overnight, and then maybe tomorrow morning when Sarah's feeling a little bit better, maybe she'll stand a chance.
Before anything else, they need to check how bad the baby's injuries are. He's got a bite at the base of his tail.
But he's lifting the tail, though. It's not...
Yeah, hold that up, Alison.
You're all right, little man.
It's one of the worst places to be injured.
The tail for a woolly monkey is everything, so we really want to make sure this little lad has full use of his. Little man. You're okay. That's a good little bite. He's young, he'll heal rapidly. Hopefully the tail will knit back together just fine and he'll have full use of it. I do feel, yes, the tail is curling up in my hand right now.
Despite his traumatic start, he's a strong baby. It's been a long day, and both mother and baby are going to need a lot of care and attention in the days to come.
I'm just glad that Sarah's still with us, and I think she'll be fine. We still have to get her through the night and know that she recovers from her surgery, but I think we're okay. And this little guy, he should be fine, but we're going to need to keep an eye on his tail.
Next time on Monkey Life, orangutan Arme heads for home.
Yeah, she knows where she's going. Oh, isn't she lovely? I love her so much. She's gorgeous.
And it's bottle feeds and nappies for the latest baby Woolly.
He's just tiny. He's only 420 grams, which is why we have to be really vigilant.